Back once again for the renegade master. 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 Back once again for the renegade master.
Hello my renegades and welcome back. And we are back to Married at First Sight UK Series 8 and we are now on episode 19. And all I can say is, people, this episode had nothing, or should I say the last episode had nothing on this episode. Like, my God. My God. Let's start out with something simple first, yeah? Let's start out with something simple first. All I'm going to ask you to do is hit that subscribe button, hit that notification button so when you know I'm on and doing videos. And then we'll just, like, you know, breeze, talk, whatever through this episode, shall we? Through this episode. So now we know the new couples, Adrian and Matt, and Mark and Sean have now gone on their honeymoons. Two totally different separate honeymoons where Adrian and Matt have gone to Tenerife. And Mark and Sean have gone to my bucket list destination, which is Lapland, and they're there to see that. You can see the northern lights and everything. I was so, I want to go. That is on my bucket list of things to do, and I will be making sure that I get that done at some point in my life. Anyway, enough about me. We're not here to talk about me, really. We're here to talk about Married at First Sight UK, aren't we? So let's get back into it. So they seem to be getting on okay. Like, Adrian and Matt seem to be getting on okay. There's nothing really to write home about. You see, Sean and Mark are starting off and getting on okay as well. They're getting to know each other. And Mark basically acknowledged that he finds it hard to open up. And he doesn't want to be rejected, but he's needing to work on his neediness. But what Sean does with him does make him feel relaxed, because Sean is literally feeding into his needs and wants in terms of making sure that he has everything that he needs, so he isn't second guessing on stuff in that sense. So we'll see how that plays out. We will, because I don't think Mark has really dealt with the trauma that he grew up with, especially in terms of the fact that, you know, his dad didn't accept him being gay, he was saying, and then it was down to the point of, like, his dad actually like doing harm to himself and unaliving himself. So I don't think Mark has dealt with that trauma in and of itself. And then there's also the fact that the person that he pledged his life to for 5 years as well did him a little bit dirty and basically abandoned him and walked away from him. So there's all of that coupled together where I think it's culminated in the person that Mark is at the moment, where he's constantly second guessing whether this person really does like him, constantly second guessing whether this person's going to abandon him, which then caused him to become quite needy and quite demanding in his wants and needs, and hopes that the person that he's with can fulfill those. Right now, Sean is doing it. But there's going to come a time where it can't be done all the time. And there's going to come a time where Mark is literally going to have to learn to be a little bit more independent from his partner in that sense, and have that trust in his partner that his partner will always be there if he were to fall. So then we zip back to London and we see that it's still in-laws week, and it's Arthur and Laura. And Arthur gets his friend, his best friend coming round, and Laura gets her two best friends coming round basically. And I think Lucia was already kind of like on the back foot with Arthur in terms of the fact of how he started things off with the flipping vows, because the vows does rears its ugly head in that. And all I will say is context matters. Like, context really matters, and the context of how and why he did what he did came about in regards to that. And I would say that Arthur did rectify it. Now, I don't understand why Arthur had to tell them that it took him 10 minutes in which to write it, because that doesn't sound good. But we also have to remember that Arthur's second language is English. It's not his first language. His first language is Polish. So there's going to be some miscommunication. There's going to be something missed in translation when it comes to Arthur and how he puts himself and his feelings across, because it can come a little bit just disjointed, because sometimes I think he doesn't necessarily think about what the fuck is coming out of his mouth. He just says what he thinks sounds and feels good at the time, but doesn't realize that it comes across as a little bit, Arthur, did you really need to say that? No, you didn't. But nobody actually pulls him up on it and says it or corrects him in that way. But the good thing is Laura was able to protect him in certain situations with the friends, and like rein it back when they were getting a little bit too like sarcastically nasty about his character, because they were. And I don't understand this need for partners to liken their partners to like puppies, like they're excited little I don't understand it. Like I really don't understand it, because to me that would be quite annoying. I'd be like, why are you likening me to a puppy for? Because I ain't excitable like that. I ain't gonna run up to try and hump your leg and then piss all over your foot. So I don't like it. I don't like it. Some people may find it endearing, but I don't. So then it whips back over to the honeymoons, and we have Adrian and Mark, and Adrian shows Mark a picture of herself when she was back then, and the fact that she'd lost 8 stone and how she's working in order to keep that off and stuff. And he was really, really really proud of her in regards to that. But I think from where she was to where she is now, mentally, I don't think she's fully transformed in that sense. I think she's probably still back at the stage where she was probably more than likely at her heaviest, and she still continues to carry insecurities in regards to that. And I think it's kind of hard as well when you do lose that amount of weight, and the changes it makes in you, it's the differences in other people that it makes as well. So I think she's still having to contend with that too. So then we go to Mark and Sean. Mark and Sean are basically having a conversation, and Mark is explaining that he's needy, and Sean just explains it as there's not always going to be things that they are going to agree on, and was explaining to Mark that he needs to prepare himself for it not to be okay sometimes. Mark didn't like that, because Mark saw it as though Sean was automatically looking for a negative, where I don't think that's what he was saying when he was saying what he was saying to Mark. He was basically saying that a relationship is not built on a bed of roses all the time. It's not going to be happiness and sunshine all the time. There's going to be times where there's going to be a bit of sadness. There's probably going to be a bit of anger. There's probably going to be a bit of disappointment, disillusion, this, that, and the other. And it's things that you have to work through as a couple. That's all he was saying. He was telling Mark that he needs to be prepared for that. But Mark didn't like that, because, as again, he just saw that Sean was just going straight to a negative. So then he kind of storms off, and I'm like, give him his space. Give the diva his space. Give him his space. Let him calm, think, process, then come back, which is kind of what he did. He did come back out, and he did sit back down, and he did speak to Sean in regards to how his comment made him feel. And I had that discussion about it, and I worked through it. That's called healthy communication, people. That is called healthy communication, people. Okay? Where he went off, he processed, he came back. Sean was still sitting there waiting for him to come back. Even though Sean was looking at him as if to say, what the fuck? Why is he walked off for? I don't know what the fuck's happening right now. Sean still sat there and waiting for him to come back. He came back, and they sat down and they discussed it like adults. At the end of the day, there was no shouting, there was no screaming, there was none of this drama-filled fucking shit. They just sat there and discussed it like adults and worked through it. So then it comes back to London, and we're back into the Bianca, JJ and Ella gate, and a bit of Nathaniel gate at the end of the day. So Bianca is still questioning, because she's not sure what's going on. She's not really entirely sure why JJ asked for this space, but she allowed him that space at the end of the day to try and work through whatever it is he needed to work through to basically come back to her, so then they can have these conversations and hopefully try and progress their marriage forward. Little did poor Bianca know at the end of the day what was going on in the background, because JJ is a freaking liar. Same way Ella is a liar too at the end of the day. So Ella's there saying no, that she tried so hard with Nathaniel to make it work. but it's not going in the direction that she wanted. So with Ella, it's all I, me, and never anything else in that regard. It's how you know, she's been impacted, she's been affected, what it is that she wants. She needs to be selfish now. That's Ella at the end of the day. That's the true essence of Ella at the end of the day. That's what you're seeing coming out right now. This is the true essence of Ella. And what you're seeing in JJ has always been the true essence of JJ at the end of the day. And I just thought to myself, it's because he's not dicking you down, ain't it, babe? And Ella, it's because Nathaniel's not dicking you down. That's entirely what it's to do with, because Ella is not used to someone having respect for you and wanting to build an emotional connection with you before entering into the physical realm with you. Ella's not used to that. She's used to men looking at her face value only and literally just wanting to fucking pull her knickers down and dick her down, basically. That's what Ella is used to. That is what Ella is used to, and that's what she'll probably find in JJ at the end of the day. Because JJ ain't looking at Ella as though she's potential. I don't see he's looking at Ella as though she's potential. I don't see as though he's looking at Ella as though he wants to make an emotional connection with her. And I think he's just looking at Ella because she's pretty, and he's just looking at the physical connection in that sense. That's how I'm seeing it. He really is. He ain't looking beyond that. He is not looking beyond that. And I swear to God, if Ella says one more time that she came here to find a husband, I'm liable to husband her clot up of a JJ for her. I mean, you obviously didn't go there to find a husband, my love. You started off wanting to find a husband until someone else came into the mix and gave you a little bit of the I. Then you decided you came here for love and you wanted to find a husband. Pull the other one, like, seriously, pull the other. And this is where I was. I just can't with these two. Every time they were on the screen, they were pissing me the fuck off, like pissing me off royally. So Bianca's gone over to Roz because she feels that she's closer to Roz in this situation to have a conversation with her. No, because Bianca is of a mindset that, you know, her situation with JJ is kind of akin to how Roz's situation was with Thomas, and wants pointers in terms of how does she work through this and how does she move forward, how does she have these conversations. And basically she just wanted some reassurance. That's all she wanted, some reassurance from JJ that, you know what, she is wanted at the end of the day. She said that she felt like she was broken, and she started to cry, and I really did. I felt so bad for her because you could literally see this poor girl was literally crying her esteem out of her freaking eyeballs. Like, she was breaking from the inside out. That's what was happening to Bianca. She was breaking from the inside out because she wanted this validation from this man who was not going to give her that validation. And she's not been through something like that before. And this is what the experts allowed into her life, because JJ was not serious about this process at all. He was never serious about this process at all. Even though down to his friends and his dad told him that he needed to try. Yes, she may not be the conventional pretty that you go for, but at the end of the day, that's not what you're looking at. That's not the be all and end all. At the end of the day, what you ask them for is the essence of what the experts were trying to provide you with. But obviously, as again I'll keep saying, you're just shallow, and you ain't going to turn around on big old TV and say it's because you don't like how she looks, you don't like her features. You're not going to say it because it's going to make you look more of a freaking dickhead than you already are at the end of the day. So Roz basically was giving her advice and saying that he needs to figure it out himself, and that Bianca had done nothing wrong, and she hasn't. Bianca hasn't done nothing wrong, and that's the key thing. It's freaking JJ and Ella that's doing something wrong. Nobody else has done anything wrong in this scenario. And this is what was pissing me off royally, because it had this girl, and Bianca's a good girl and she's pretty. She is pretty. JJ looks like a freaking block. JJ ain't all that. Like, JJ really is not all that. He really ain't. And he has the audacity to do what he's doing to Bianca. yeah, you can see by my face, I'm just really not impressed. I'm not impressed in the slightest. So then we go back to the honeymoons and we see that Adrian and Matt are doing, I don't know if they're doing some clay things, but they're doing some type of activity. And Adrian is pressing on the issue that she believes that there's at least got to be something there that they find it annoying on each other. So Matt kind of turned around and talked about Adrian might be a bit of a show off, and saying that she comes off as though she's good at everything and it may come across as being big-headed sometimes. Now, the way in which Matt said it, you know that he didn't mean no malice behind his words in the way that he was saying it, but it came out completely wrong. Like, he triggered the fuck out of Adrian. That's what happened with what he said, because she's probably heard the "you're not good enough" speeches and "you need to change" and "you need to do this" and "you're acting this way and you shouldn't do quite a lot, especially when she was a bigger woman. She probably heard a lot of negative connotations towards herself, which she's literally still trying to work through. So when Matt said what he said in the way that he said it, he really triggered her, and I don't think he fully understand until Adrian set it down the line and explained it to him, and he took it on board. And he did say that he managed to go off, sort out a meal and everything like that, call her to it, and he just wanted to sit down and work through the issue that they went through at that point, because he wanted them to be on an even keel for their marriage, because basically he really wanted things to work out with her. So they had their discussion, they worked it out. That's all I can say. In terms of Mark and Sean, they're getting on okay. I was quite surprised that they were getting on okay, to be fair, because at first Mark made it seem as though he was not going to like Sean in the slightest. But he's grown on me. Mark has actually grown on me. I like them. I do like them. It goes back into the flats and we see Nate, who has spent the last two nights away from Ella. And we see Laura come in because basically he had been told on the grapevine by Dasha that Ella and JJ had been texting each other. So basically Nathaniel's saying that he felt deflated by the deceit, and basically said that Ella is a liar and a cheat, and that's how he felt at that point. That is how he felt at that point. And by that point, now Nathaniel was like, I'm done. Now you've done this to me, I'm done. There's no way that you're coming back from this, and everybody else is going to find out exactly what you've been doing. He was not going to keep that quiet. And if anyone thought that Nathaniel was going to take the high roads once he found out the truth, that was not going to happen in the slightest. Laura absolutely looked disgusted by the fact that Ella was doing what she was doing with JJ. So then it moves on from there, and all I can say is, oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God, she's a bitch. They're bitches. They're bitches. They're bitches. They went and met each other, didn't they? Ella and JJ went and met each other in a bar. I'm like, okay. So this what you do, yeah? This is what you do, yeah? I told you they planned it. I told you they planned it. And they don't feel no way about it. That's the fucked up thing. They don't feel like they're doing anything wrong, because Ella's already checked out of her marriage with Nathaniel, but yet you're still married. And JJ didn't even give his fucking marriage a running start to Bianca, and he's already thinking that's a non-starter, but yet you're still married. Yeah, the bitches. The bitches. How Ella could turn around and say, I don't want to be a homewrecker, but she said, I'm going to huff and puff and blow your house down. And then she said, I don't want to hurt another girl. But it's going to be she's in the rearview mirror. She's in the rearview mirror because she's making herself happy right now. Ella don't give a shit about no one but herself. And it's the same with JJ. He don't give a shit about no one but himself and how he's feeling at that time. That's how that is. That's how that is. And basically JJ said him thinking, he's thinking about Ella and everything that they're going through and the connection that they have. He does feel bad. And then says, but everything else was lies. before that, you don't feel bad in the slightest. If you felt that bad, you would try work things with Bianca, but you didn't. You decided to fish and cut baits. Basically, you decided to go take yourself with another man's wife. You both had plenty of opportunity in which to sit down and tell your respective spouses that this is where the playing field was, to prepare them and allow them to see what was going on right now. Rather than that, you two just played in their faces all day long. You just played in everybody's faces and then expected when shit hit the fan for people to be on your motherfucking side. I don't know how that works. I don't know how that works. They're shits. I'm sorry. They are I've never, in all of the Married at First Sight UKs that I've watched, I've never known it like this. I've known that there's been times where husbands have spoken to other people outside of the stuff and everything like that. I've known there's been times for that to happen, but never how it's happened in this one. Never how it's happened in this one. I was running back and forth this bitch last night when I was watching it, saying, what? Oh my gosh, you bitch. They're bitches. They're bitches. That's all I can say. That's all I can say. That is all I can say. Oh my God. They both give me the ick. Yeah, they both gave me the ick at that. Whoa. They both gave me the ick. But this is where I'm going to leave it. And I'll be back with the next one. As I always say, please hit that subscribe button. Please hit that notification button so when you know I'm on doing videos. And I'll speak to you all again soon.